Hi Raj, how are you?
Fine. How are you?
All good? Is this Miranda?
Yes, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
We have a few more people coming, so let's wait a few minutes. Miranda, where are you logging?
I'm from Orange, California.
Alright. And how are you interested? Are you comfortable talking?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So
Okay. I have
how
kids
does
in the
how
kids in
does
here, so
that's
I'm
fine. How does India interest you? Want to import?
export. I would like to import fruit and flower trees and then export buyers.
Okay, fruits.
Not the fruits itself, but the actual tree. So live trees, live plants.
Okay, live trees of fruits and vegetables,
Flowers and fruit trees.
flowers and fruit trees. Okay, interesting. And are you currently in that business for a long time, or you just starting?
I don't sell. I'm not in the selling business. I'm in the horticulture business, but I would like to start selling.
So this is an interesting business. I have not been introduced to it before, uh, although it might be a business for sure, as you're saying that importing and selling live plants, seeds. Are you talking about seeds or just the plants?
Live plants.
Live plants. So there has to be some sort of a growth of the seeds, and then they're exported. Interesting. Thank you, TY. Would you like to introduce yourself? And then Raj, would you like to introduce after TY?
Hello everyone. So my name is Tamanna and I have my export business. So we export handicrafts. So our current clients are in UK and Germany. So it's been just 6 months we have started this business. So
Okay.
yeah, that's from
So you're just starting your business in exports for the last 6 months.
yeah,
And what do you export?
handicrafts.
Handicrafts. Okay. Where are you based?
I live in Delhi, but I'm from Haryana, Mahendragarh.
You live in Delhi, but you're from Haryana. Which place?
Mahendragarh.
Mahendragarh. Okay. And Raj, how about you?
Hi, my name is Raj and I am a digital marketer. I help a business to increase their revenue, top line revenue. Thank you.
So, Shiva, have you heard of the hosted by program before? Did you research on this?
No, I just saw your group on meetup, so that's why I joined. I never attended the meetings before.
Okay. Yeah. So the hosted by program is from the Federation of Business Ambassadors, which we call DBA as Federation of Business Buying Agents. We are the people at the federation. Our members are sourcing consultants, sourcing offices, liaison offices, buying agents, buying houses who are representing customers. For example, if Miranda is looking for live plants to source and she needs some help in India, whether she can do it herself by maybe Google out or looking at all the trade exhibition data or just getting in contact with the people who are doing this. And if it is difficult for her to do it, it's a lot of time consumption is happening, not getting very good success rate. She might want to outsource this to a sourcing agent in India, hire them for her business, maybe at upfront cost, or maybe she can have a contract with them that once I make a purchase, then they can get a service fees. That is the business which the members are doing for a lot of different product categories. And the hosted by program is primarily to promote that business of having importers, e-commerce sellers, buyers coming to India. We incentivize their travel as the federation. They only pay a small cost as a stakeholder while we are putting the rest of the cost, which is almost 80% of the cost of flight, hotel, factory tours, sourcing, B2B exhibition, meeting the sourcing agents, meeting the right exporters, uh, traveling around the city, sightseeing. So 6 nights, 7 days trip is given to the buyer. Now, as an exporter, your interest is also protected because once we invite you to the hosted buyer program as a stakeholder, you're also paying the same cost which the buyer is paying, and you get to meet not only the buyers who are coming from overseas but also the buying agents in the room who are here to meet the buyers. So for an exporter, it's a double benefit option that you're not only bringing to expose yourself to the buyers who are coming in India, in specifically those product categories, but you also are meeting local buying agents who have multiple buyers for their management, and that this is how you can multiply your business of exports. I hope it was clear on what is the concept.
Yeah, it's clear.
Interesting. So what exactly handicraft do you sell, TY?
Blue pottery, it is manufactured in Jaipur, so it has geographical indication of the
What is that for the product?
blue pottery.
Blue pottery. Okay, yes, that's a geographical for sure. Yeah, and blue pottery is also very popular actually in the US, which I have seen before. Hmm, interesting. So, what's your experience? How do you pronounce your name? TY means like, is there a full name?
Yes. My full name is Tamanna Yadav.
Tamanna Yadav. Okay. So, Tamanna, what are the challenges you face as an exporter? Let's continue the
Uh,
conversation while people are there, or maybe we can just talk among ourselves. So, even
yeah,
actually, Miranda will have an exposure on how the business evolves in India when she's trying to look for suppliers in India or for people to buy from.
yeah, so actually my family background is not from business. I belong to a family of bureaucrats. Like my father was in army and my uncles are in defense. So the biggest challenge was that doing business, like for first generation in business. So that was a challenge because my parents were more like that you should go for some government job or you should prepare for some college
Hmm,
placement and all.
interesting.
So first of all, convincing them was a big challenge. And when I started this business, the finding the buyer was the second challenge because fortunately I had some connections so that I have clients in such a short period of time.
Hmm.
So that was so the connection was a privilege for me. So yeah.
So finding the buyers that is of course the priority as well. It's not only a challenge, but that's also the priority for the business because that is how you will be able to sustain your revenue and you grow your business. So what are the normal channels you're using to get customers?
Sorry, what I didn't get your question.
So what kind of marketing efforts or other areas of channels you're using to promote your business or get some lead generations and customers to buy from you? Are you exhibiting in some
So
fairs?
yeah, I we don't exhibit in the fairs, but we do visit the fairs. Like it happens in Noida and here in Delhi in Pragati Maidan and all. So there we can get connected to the buyers and we are on social media, so we can connect through our social media pages as well to them. And currently we don't have any website, but we are working on that. So then we can use SEO for marketing.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Miranda, how long have you been looking for live plants as a source and from which countries?
To be honest, we actually I grow everything from I propagate here, but I wanted to start actually buying wholesale. So I have only taken one class, an import export class, and so I'm really just I have no idea exactly where to start, but I figure, like this incentive buyers program, where I would kind of get more support would probably be a good place for me to start.
Yeah. So we are open to answer all your questions since you are a beginner in the export import. My experience in this industry is 30 plus years, and product does not matter for us after having so much of years of experience. Yes, there could be certain technical issues which we might not be able to understand, but the focus of having those technical issues discussed is more important. For example, if you're looking at importing live plants, and the first thing you need to do is get in touch with good, reliable freight forwarders, the people who are managing the customs for you. Because if anything has to come from outside of US, it has to cross the customs and borders. And the best person to deal with and to give you the knowledge of the regulations is the custom handling agent, which is called the CHA, or cargo agents or freight forwarders. Uh, you can send a comment in the meetup where you are part of the which meetup, that we can connect you to few people I know, and we have been doing our business as well with them. And then you should start asking them the right question, that if I want to have live plants, what are the regulations and papers required to get this imported in the US? And they might ask you from which country are you bringing it from, because it also depends upon country to country as well. So you can throw them few names. Okay, I would like to have from India, Vietnam, China, whatever you feel as a horticulturist. You feel that maybe Europe is even as well, few countries from there, and then let them make you understand the nuances, the certifications which you might require, or the regulations which might you have to follow as an entity in the US as well. It's not about the papers to import, but also when you are trying to sell something which is imported from there, then you have to also see, are you authorized to sell something in the US for this part? I think she just left out. Okay. All right. So, Tamanna, how was your experience, like in terms of what I explained as a hosted buyer program, that we arrange a meeting of exporters, buying agents, and buyers, and you all get together in one room for a whole day looking at product and meeting different business entities. How do you feel?
Yeah, so if so many importers, exporters, and mentors are coming together for a meeting, then definitely it's going to be a knowledgeable meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot to learn because everyone will share their own experiences
Mm-hmm.
and their challenges, their struggle they have done in their past. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So the hosted buy program, let me bring you more clarity, is all about business. It's all about meeting people, showcasing your product. So as an exporter, what we are going to do is, when we invite you, first of all, we have to see, are we looking at blue pottery as a product, whether we have buyers who are looking at blue pottery as a product. For example, I know in August there is a buyer coming, she says ceramics, and she says gift articles. That's a two category which she has mentioned. And when we asked her again that, can you define what kind of gift articles, can you define what kind of ceramic, she said, I am new to India. I would like to see what all is possible from India, which is competitive, which is unique, so that when I go back, and she is a community leader, she coaches a lot of e-commerce sellers. She does support and help a lot of e-commerce sellers in terms of their business growth, business strategy, sourcing, private label. So she wants to have the, every knowledge about what India can bring. That becomes a target market for you to capture. And once we are looking at such a buyer, so the federation will reach out to all the exporters, and you fit, actually, it's a coincidence or what, you are in this room today. You would be an ideal candidate to be applying for the hosted buyer program, to be in the room, because only 20 exporters are allowed to be in the room. If there is one buyer, we are not allowing like 50 or 60 or 80 exporters or 100 exporters. Only the 20 can qualify to be there. And then these 20 would be from different product categories. So if you're into blue pottery, which is
yeah,
a very unique product, it is also ceramic, it's also fall under gift articles,
yeah,
and you have an opportunity to meet the buyer, which is one buyer, and 10 sourcing agents, which on an average are managing 4 or 5 customers. So you are primarily looking at 50 plus buyers in that room, and you're given a 24 square meter space to display your product. It is not only a table meeting, it's an actual display as a booth. You're given a raw space wherein you can arrange whatever how you want to arrange it, arrange some tables or some display systems or whatever. And these buying agents and that buyer is going to actually walk and discuss the business with you. And that is a time when you want to literally showcase yourself as one of the best exporters, a startup company, and why your product and why your business is unique, and how can they make money by buying your product.
So it is similar like the fairs happen.
It is similar to the fairs happen. In fact, it is similar to a display which a buying agent does for her buyer. So I don't know how much business you have seen before, but traditionally the buying agent, for example, I am also a buying agent. If my customer is coming and we have to showcase new factories, so it's not possible to get to visit 20 factories in different areas of India in 3 days, 4 days, because nobody can travel much more than 3 or 4 days as a business owner, right? As a buyer. So what we do is on the first day when they arrive, we ask 20, maybe 25, depending on how big is the customer, how big is their buying. Sometimes it's a big buying team as which comes, so we can even go on 50 people, 50 exporters also. We arrange a display in a hotel on the first day, and then they see the product. It goes around 3 or 4 or 5 hours of meetings, and we shortlist the best factories to work with them. And the next 2 days or 3 days, we visit those factories whose product we have seen on the first day, or existing factories where we are already working. So that is how we shortlist and make our list crisper, more accurate, and targeted, focused. Okay, this is the out of 20, I liked only 5 factories. So now 15 are out. So our focus is only on 5, some other factory which they might have been working before. So in the next 2 or 3 days, it's easy for us to manage 6 or 7 factories to visit, right? So that is the display and exhibition system which a buying agent has been following for the last 50 years. And that exactly what we have exemplified and glorified in the federation's hosted buyer program. So the first day, a buyer will meet the buying agents, whether they want to work with the buying agent and then to visit your booths, or they want to do it directly after meeting the buying agents. Then 4 or 5 hours are there for the entire day is there for them to see all the products. So if you are one of the 20 selected, they will also come to your booth. I hope this was quite understandable now.
Yeah. So I have a question.
Yes.
Like if we put this exhibition part aside for a while, and if I'm looking for buyers on my own, so how I can verify buyers? Because in my past 6 months, I have seen in my business that my Indian exporters, like other Indian exporters of blue pottery, they are messaging me on WhatsApp from the other country code, like changing the country code and from other numbers, and they are trying to ask my pricing and all. So how to verify buyers, and if there is even a buyer abroad, then how will get to know that this is a genuine buyer or not?
Great question. And this is exactly would be one of my video points in my YouTube channel. As a new exporter, how do you verify and validate whether somebody who's asking you for a price is a genuine buyer or is just somebody else trying to get your prices, trying to get some free samples, or simply saying, is it a serious business for you to invest your time? The first and foremost is look for signs, and don't mind my language, don't mind my examples. It's just like when a boy and girl start to date, you look for very small and minute things, that how other people is dressed up, are they coming on time, what kind of conversation they are trying to do, are they only focused on one thing or are they looking at the long term solution. So once a buyer is now getting engaged with you, it is exactly the same situation. Are they only comfortable talking on WhatsApp? Do they have email? Are they talking about their business? Do they have a website? If I'm asking them for details, are they looking at giving us the information of what is their business? Very importantly, as an exporter and as a buyer, if I am your buyer, I would be, and I'm a genuine buyer, I'll be very happy telling you what I do. Because once you understand my business, once you understand my customers, you'll be able to give me the right price. So in B2B business, you look at the depth. In B2B business, I am not buying for my home. I am not a retail consumer. I am also a seller trying and looking at product to buy from you and sell to somebody else. So unless you know my customer, and this is what one of my videos on channel says, know your customer's customer. So unless you know my customer, how can I be your customer? So you have to ask all those questions, sir. I'm happy that you are looking at my product. You want like to buy my product. But before I can offer you great prices, great deals, can we get on a Zoom call or a Google Meet or a phone call, whatever you feel comfortable? And I have a set of questions to ask you. Now, the second question arrives, what are the set of questions? You can go on my Instagram and I would, in fact, post it in my meetup as well. There is a set of questions which a buyer has to ask a factory, and there are a set of questions which a exporter should ask a buyer. If the buyer is not comfortable dealing with questions like this, I don't think so they're a serious buyer. For example, we are at the federation, we're also managing right now that it has not come as a case, but one of the exporters came to us, she called us and she said, I have started engaging with a customer. He is very unpredictable person, doesn't answer emails, only talks on WhatsApp and says a lot of rude things, sometimes doesn't even respond, and he's always asking for credit. And she asked around in the community, a lot of people are buying from selling to this buyer, and she started selling to him as well. Eventually, she shipped $80,000 of jewelry, and now the buyer is so unpredictable. The payment is also delayed, and he says, "Just wait, have patience. I will pay." Such like bad things. I will not work with you. You are too disturbing to me. Such languages are not appropriate from the buyer side, especially when your exporter has done his whole hard work and they're giving you a credit of 60 days. $80,000 is not a small amount. It's not like 80 cents or $80. It's $80,000. So asked the exporter, you did not do the right homework before. If such a buyer is doing business with you, he may be a big buyer. He might be buying from a lot of different factories. So just because you want to get business, you said yes to it. But that is not the right way of doing things. Now you're stuck. There is a way to get around, but do not fall under this trap again. And this is again what I'm telling you, Tamanna. When you start engaging with buyers, do not be in a rush to get business. Because if you look at successful exporters, they're successful because they've done their KYCs. They have done their know your customer formalities. And if any customer is not comfortable talking to you regarding their business, I do not feel that they are the right people to work with. They will ditch you, they can give you some losses, and it could be some short term benefits somebody would be looking at, which is again your waste of time and energy and resources. Does it make sense?
Yeah, gradually I'm understanding and learning these things. But initially, what happened was that if anyone texted me, so for orders, like, and I get excited and I tell them my prices and all. That was a big mistake.
One thing in business which I've seen is patience. You have to have patience. Even if there is a customer standing in front of you, you know that if you say something wrong, they might run away and you might lose some business. But that doesn't stop you from talking the right sense, talking the right communication, doing the right communication. Yeah, I hope this answered the question.
Yeah, this answered my question very well.
Okay, Miranda, we lost you in between. Would you like to listen to what we were talking about before?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So contact the just Google out or maybe with your own network, look for some custom clearing forwarders, freight forwarders, custom clearing agents. On the meetup, I also, if you can send a comment or a chat in the meetup page, I can send you the details of the people I work with in the US. And there are a couple of them. It's not like we are married to one person. We often use different people for different services. So they're all our service providers who are doing managing our freight and freight forwarding in the US. They are the people who will be able to tell you what regulations are required by you, depending on which country are you sourcing from, and also they will be able to guide you on the kind of certification the factory should have for selling live plants, because live plants is endangered and a regulated restricted category of product to be imported. Does it make sense?
Thank you. Yes.
All right, any other question, guys? Or okay, you have shared your Insta.
Yeah, because one of the participants asked me for my social media profile.
Okay, so i would I would encourage this to be done on the chat section of our meetup page. So if you would like to have information on or details from me or from my team, because a lot of them are not on the meetup page or this meeting, and they would be monitoring the meetup chat and comments. So if you would require some information, that's why I told Miranda as well to write to and request for information on some US based freight forwarders, and my one of the team who's managing logistics for us, they'll be able to provide that thing there. All right, so we should be wrapping it up in 2 more minutes, unless you guys have any more questions. Raj, you would like to say something about the meeting? How did you feel?
Yes, I feel very informative this time
Mhm.
because I don't expect that live plant and pottery business.
Yeah,
So it's informative.
interesting. So I will encourage you people to post your comments, feedback, compliments on the meetup groups on the chat section. If you felt that this was a very nice time invested and you got your few answers and it was informative, that will help the group grow better. Then more and more people will start joining the meeting, and there will be more knowledge sharing, and there will be more business networking happening across. So this is a long term benefit for all. When we participate, when we are actively engaging ourselves, posting whatever we are feeling, I'm not saying only put nice words, but any feedback, any compliment, any comment you would like to give, that brings the group into focus to all members, and then there would be few people who would be willing to come on board, and that's how we can grow our memberships of meeting these attending the meetups. Okay, and I will be sharing the hosted by program details on the meetup page, so you can always go and register yourself, and we can look at how we can help you if you're an exporter